On this episode of Med-Surg Moments,
my husband was a baseball player back in college.
For this year, that's my goal, finally getting Med-Surg certified. Any tips?
I've had a couple of days with my students. The orientation went well. I was kind of nervous
So I am car shopping, yay, because I crashed, boo.
I don't know why I decided to do a master's while planning a wedding. Our topic today is social media do's and don'ts for nurses. What's okay to post, what's a hard no, what can get you into serious trouble, even when your intentions were good.
It's like you see these things, I'm like, what are you thinking? How are they posting this?
Good golly, if you want to review the social media policy, this could be a termination, and we don't want that to happen. Even at the time, I was like, are we doing this?
It's so easy for a nurse to post something accidentally or not knowing.
That spiraled out of control on social media.
I've heard of a nurse that actually got walked off because
I do love social media. I'm on social media, and back when I started my nursing career, I also started a platform just to kind of help educate nurses.
We work so hard for these licenses, we can't just give them away like that.
What about when you post something personal and they come after you professionally?
This is Marcela,
Eric,
Trish,
Kellye,
Sydney.
and Haley. Welcome to Med-Surg Moments, the AMSN podcast.
This podcast is an engaging look at the lives of and surrounding medical surgical nurses.
We're proud Med-Surg nurses just like you, sharing our stories, insights, and experiences to support you in your nursing journey.
Our topic today is social media do's and don'ts for nurses. But before we get started, let's begin with some personal updates. Trish, why don't you get us started?
I'm super excited that the weather's finally gotten a little warmer. My husband was a baseball player back in college a long time ago. So he's super excited that baseball season is arriving. And we have a little league here in town, the Kannapolis Cannonballers, that we enjoy going to. And I have some great nursing conferences coming up that I'm looking forward to, AONL and North Carolina Association of Nurse Leaders. Marcela, what's been going on with you?
Hello, thank you. So I'm still keeping up working on my sleep. It's a little difficult because I'm actually still breastfeeding our about to be 2-year-old. He's turning 2 in February. And all my other ones, they self-weaned themselves by the time they were 1. So I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to tell him no. Part of me wants to just keep saying, yes, let's do it because we love to cuddle. It's like a lifeline. When he's sick, dehydrated, breastfeeding is just like the biggest lifeline. But he's about to be 2. I'm ready. And then at the same time, I'm working on my sleep. So it kind of aligns together. We're doing longer stretches at night. He'll wake up maybe once and then that's it. And I'm not sleeping in there anymore. And I'm really excited to be an adult sleeping all on my own. No toys and cribs and everything around me anymore. Professionally, we just had our New Year chapter brunch where we kind of just start thinking about our goals for this year. I'm still not Med-Surg certified. I keep putting it off. So for this year, that's my goal, finally getting Med-Surg certified. Any tips, any books you guys recommend for studying, let me know. I got to really focus and get it done this year. Haley, what's new with you?
I have an excellent book, so I'm going to have to send it your way for studying. So I have an ultrasound scheduled coming up. So hopefully the next time we are all hanging out, I'll get to tell you about the gender. Also, and I talked about it previously for how we are switching over to Epic. We are deep in the build. We have finished up the initial build and now we're more on the training phase where we're teaching everybody how to support each other as super users. So it's getting closer and closer and I'm getting more excited by the minute to switch to Epic. And like I said before, I'm going to need tons of pointers on Epic. And I am really excited from an infection prevention standpoint on how this will be a positive impact for our nurses and for our harm rates, of course. Kellye, how about you?
Hey, well, I'm super excited for you, Haley, and also Marcela. Y'all jumping on the Epic bandwagon. I can later give y'all a couple of tips on Epic. I absolutely love Epic and the Rovers. But for me personally, me and my family, we just got back from Virginia. We spent some time with our cousins. They built a brand new house, and everything was just so nice. It was us and a couple of cousins and their children. They were able to house about 12 of us in their beautiful new home. It's like an 8-bedroom home. Just absolutely a nice time, y'all. I'm really just getting used to being off Saturdays and Sundays because bedside was all I know. So in this new role, I'm just enjoying those perks of having those extended weekends when you're leaving on a Friday afternoon and coming back on a Tuesday when you have a holiday on a Monday. So my schedule now is correlating with my kids' schedule. So that's exciting. And for me professionally, I've had a couple of days with my students. The orientation went well. I was kind of nervous underneath my happy face and the way I talk, but I was excited to have those students and to just pour into them and work on a renal Med-Surg floor. It's at my current hospital, but it's a floor that I've never floated to. So excited about that. What about you, Eric? What's new for you?
Kellye, I love that you got like a new look and a new job and a new outlook on life. I'm so happy for you.
Thank
So I am car shopping. Yay, because I crashed. Boo. That's the exciting part for me. Work-wise, I'm over the male nurse only asterisk next to a patient name. I don't know if anyone has to deal with that. I'm sure not here because there's no other males, but I'm over that kind of stuff at work. So put me in kind of a little funk this week. That is all I will say about that. Sydney, what about you?
Eric, I'm sorry to hear you in a car crash. I'm glad you're okay. You at least get to get a little upgrade. Marcela, I'll give a little AMSN shout out that when I took my certification, I did the CMSRN review course, and I thought it was perfect. It was not like overly difficult. It broke everything down. You know, when you're acting as a nurse, like you know things, but sometimes like the charting system helps you. You know, like it tells you what labs are normal, or you have your doctors to lean on, your other nurses to lean on. So I feel like it really helped put everything back into like nursing school terms. I was able to recall it in a testing setting. So I thought the review course was super helpful for when I was taking mine. As far as personal updates, department head is going well. The prior department head just left, so big DH all on my own. So I'm excited to kind of give you guys updates throughout the year as that's going, as I figure out how to do this by myself. More personal outside of work, I'm currently taking a nursing theory class. I've got about 2 weeks left, and that's going okay. This has definitely been one of the more challenging classes that I've taken, especially very time consuming. It's like a 5-page paper, then a 7-page paper, then a 3-page paper, then an 8-page paper. So balancing that with my new workload and wedding planning, I don't know why I decided to do a master's while planning a wedding. That's bad on my part, but I've learned a lot this semester, but I'm ready for these 8 weeks to be over. Why don't we move on to our topic? Social media do's and don'ts for nurses. Let's be honest, social media can feel like a minefield for nurses. What's okay to post? What's a hard no? What can get you into serious trouble, even when your intentions were good? Maybe you've shared a rough shift post, a photo at work, or commented on a health-related thread without realizing you crossed a line. Or maybe you've been so afraid of posting the wrong thing that you avoid social media altogether. Today, we're discussing our way through all of it and sharing guidelines we've learned along the way. Who wants to get us started?
Sydney, I love the topic because I am obsessed with it. I personally try not to be on social media because when I'm on it, it always turns into something that it shouldn't be. But when I'm reviewing it or stalking, it's like you see these things. I'm like, what are you thinking? How are they posting this thing? And the ramifications from it, like they're shocked. I like looking in and seeing people like me. It's kind of fun seeing the nurses and you're like, oh, I do that too. Doing the dances, doing the songs. It's so easy for a nurse to post something accidentally or not knowing and get in trouble for that kind of stuff.
We had caregivers that were on my unit, and luckily I saw it before a lot of other people saw it. They were on night shift and they were doing a dance and they were filming it in a patient care area with rooms in the background. And luckily, you couldn't see any patient information in there. But I'm like, good golly, if you want to review the social media policy, this could be a termination and we don't want that to happen. So I talked to them as soon as I saw it and they took it down immediately, thank goodness. But social media can be a slippery slope, of course. The dances are fun, but once you're doing it at work, it can become dangerous.
Yeah. Being on the podcast, Eric Unfiltered could probably not make the air, but I always feel like there's a little lag in my speak because I always got to make sure what's coming out of my mouth is radio airwave safe or appropriate. It's so easy because you just want to, I don't know, spill your guts to other people that know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But then I am always cautious that we have a manager on our podcast.
During 2020, my unit felt really close to what was happening because we were a pulmonary floor. Our patients were always susceptible to dying from complications of a flu from their family members. They're lung transplant patients, their immune systems are a wreck, and they're on all kinds of medications. You guys know that. But once it became the entire world was discussing your specialty of pulmonary healthcare, and people were making so many statements that were true, so many statements that were very not true, it was really hard to stay out of the conversation on social media. And I know that a lot of us were guilty of that because it was also a camaraderie thing. Our unit would film a little powwow in the morning when it was still the first few weeks of this is happening. Everyone has to stay home. We don't know what's going on. They started doing this tunnel and then we would each run through it. Even at the time, I was like, are we doing this? That spiraled out of control on social media, the coordinated dances, the emotional videos too, nurses filming themselves in really hard moments, whether they just finished a code and they're sobbing, but the sincerity comes into question. It's just important to remember that patients are watching too.
Yeah. My pulmonary unit during that time actually became the first COVID medical unit. We experienced a lot of that too. And it was very difficult to remember, no matter how we felt in all of our garb, I wanted to support the nursing staff. But we had to remember that everything was viewable by the public. And there were a lot of intense moments. It was very difficult not to get involved in social media. And my stance was first supporting patients and staff equally. And I still have emotions as I'm talking about it right now. I still have all the feels.
A memory of these faces, fading as the years go by, reflected in the window pane, fading
All of us are people. And I think a lot of the intent is never to do wrong.
time may pass.
You guys grow up communicating through TikTok and all the things. And all that's very fun. Like we talk about the nurses dancing at the desk at night. I had a nurse, very similar situation. She got really funky. She was doing a pretty down and dirty dance at night. She actually got the monitors, the heart monitors. And if you looked really close, you could scan some patient information in there. But we got to it pretty quick and got it down.
What happened with that nurse? She get in trouble?
We got the TikTok down pretty quick. And she did get a counseling for that. She did.
I love the word counseling. I've heard of a nurse that actually got walked off because they put patient names on a large whiteboard in the station. When I see someone take a picture at work, I'm always like, wait, hold on, don't do that. Or we're like, let's zoom in and play Where's Waldo and make sure there's nothing there. But they were posting videos without knowing that the whiteboard was there, and it did not turn out well for them.
Yeah.
Me, myself, I do love social media. I'm on social media. And back when I started my nursing career, I also started a platform just to kind of help educate nurses. And my take on it was using my platform as a voice to be this full-time bedside nurse and showing the life of just a regular bedside nurse. Now, I would not film or take pictures on my unit. I would not film or take pictures with patient information or anything like that. I had enough sense to know not to do that. But you have to also be mindful and realize that people are watching you with everything you do. So fast forward, me having a platform back in the day of me talking education with nurses and things like that, there was a student in my clinical group who said, yes, I know you. I follow you on social media and you're just doing a lot of wonderful things. And I did not realize that people will look you up and people will follow you. And I don't want to say social media stalk you, but I'm just so thankful and grateful that I've only posted the good things that I'm doing. And I'm only posting the things that I want others to see using my boundaries. I never jeopardize my workplace, never jeopardize patients and different things like that. So it's just a maturity of knowing what you can post and what you cannot post and educating yourself and just understanding the boundaries and the rules involved, because you want to keep your name, you want to keep your professional license, your title. So that's just my take on things with social media. But I do hear those stories and see those stories. I'm not sure if y'all heard of the story where there was a young lady posted on social media. She was at her workplace. She was on a med cart and she was actually passing medications while she was on social media. And it was like a live or a TikTok. And it was just insanity. She was talking to the patients in a rude manner, things like that. And I believe she jeopardized her career. It's a big deal.
And imagine if you're being that rude on camera, how rude are you being off camera?
Exactly.
We work so hard for these licenses, so we can't just give them away like that.
Kellye, you bring up a good point. It's your personal versus professional. What about when you post something personal and they come after you professionally?
Yes, I will honestly say for me, when I go out of town, sometimes I don't post in real time. I post like after the fact. I'm really, really cautious as to what I put. I always know managers are watching, your students are watching, anything that can jeopardize you professionally, I just won't post it. I won't say I won't do it, but I won't post it. And just knowing, being self-aware, being emotionally intelligent, being aware of what you're doing on social media, that matters. That really matters.
I've dabbled in blogging a little bit. Whatever's the top of your head, just kind of journaling on the internet. Once we are licensed, we are going to be more scrutinized. I think you should be able to share your perspectives and your opinions, but if what you share impedes your care of some kind of person, some population, or if it's bad intentions, I think it makes sense that it's held against us a little bit. People are put in really vulnerable situations with us. And if we're telling people that such and such group of people, I'm not going to take care of them. That happened a lot with the vaccination. Some people vowed never to treat anyone who wasn't vaccinated or things like that on both sides. I think it's really dicey. And I think our promise is always patients first.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's another thing too with newer nurses as well. Like social media is their life, like it's everything to them, and they want to post every single thing that happens on the unit. So for me, I tell them the rule of thumb, listen, don't come on here talking about your salary, politics, religion. Those things should be off limits on social media. And then I have those newer nurses that can battle me with everything that I say. They have something to say back.
I will say I'm addicted to the dark comedy, the skits. I'm so addicted to those. And to some people, those are really crossing the line too. It's like mocking patients. Some people would consider it that. I don't like the ones that necessarily mock patients, but when you're venting about frustrating things or funny things that happen on the unit, I still advocate for those skits. They let you release some of that pressure.
You know, you don't have to jeopardize a patient's name or a hospital's name or a company's name or those type of things. Yes, I get it. Totally. I get it.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to look at influencers that we've had them on the podcast that are nurse influencers and think like, oh, I want to be like them and I'm going to get fame and I'm funny. I can dress up in a gown and run down my hallway. But like Marcela was saying, some people are really sensitive to that. And in the comments, you'll see them like, I don't find this funny. You're making fun of sick people with dementia and they can't help it. And I think we even talked to Nurse Brendan about if his organization has problems with what he posts. And he said he got backlash from his leadership about some of the content he was posting. I pulled up an article from the American Nurses Association that's rightfully named Social Media Do's and Don'ts for Nurses. Wanted to share those with you guys if that's okay. Some of their do's for nurses is to know and follow your organization's social media policy, take advantage of privacy settings, maintain professionalism in person and online, because social media is a public forum, whether you're private or not. And consider adding a disclaimer to your social media bios. If you have your employer in your name, people might see that as you representing that organization. Some don'ts that they suggest, obviously, don't post patient stories. We always are liable to HIPAA violations, so you never want to share PHI. Don't post from your workspace. We were talking about people posting in hallways or at nurses' stations, and you never know what's going to be in the background, and it's better to be like Nurse Brendan and just film it from your bedroom. Don't connect with patients or their family members online. You really shouldn't be adding patients or their family members as friends on Facebook. Crosses a boundary there. Don't complain about your employer online. We all have complaints about our workloads and things in general, but naming your organization is never a good way to go about it online. And don't post anything to shame the nursing profession. Nurses are the most trusted profession, and though it might not feel fair, nurses are held to a higher standard, and that's the same on social media.
Sydney, working on that unit where patients would sometimes stay up to a year, keeping the boundaries on social media with their family members and the patients sometimes was really difficult because in the room, they would be like, tell me you're at right now and I'll follow you and then you'll follow me later. Sometimes I would be straightforward and say, it's not our policy. Or I just feel bad that, wow, you wouldn't break the rules for me, how close we are. I've been taking care of them for months. So I would just say I'm not really on social media and I try to just avoid it overall. But yeah, some of these are tricky, but they're really important.
That's true, Maricela. That's the hard part because I get that so much. People want to connect with you or people say, oh, can I connect with you here? Or can I follow you this? Can I follow you that? That's the hard part. Maybe you do have a connection with them, but you're right. You got to keep those boundaries, keep professional.
Nursing is a profession. We're having that very battle right now. So if we think about that and just kind of remind ourselves of that, then it all comes around back full circle. We wouldn't want to do anything that wouldn't represent ourselves as a professional.
I guess when we all get together again, we need to make a TikTok, right? And show everyone how it's done professionally. And we could have a disclaimer, the dance moves and lyrics do not represent. There's got to be some of us that maybe have a secret social account, right?
I think that's another option too, is having a private one and a public one that I could say, oh, feel free. I do have one that's more just art or anything that's public and super neutral. And then the private one's ultra locked.
Now, Maricela, I'm not talking about private and public. I'm talking about a secret one where you're like Donna Devereaux or something like that.
Spicy RN. If you need the word secret in front of it.
What would we tell our young nurses starting out, cautioning them about social media?
Don't do it. Really? I mean, that's what it is. Don't do it. Like you said, everyone wants to do it. Don't do it at work. I just don't know why people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Yes, and I always say, listen, your license is worth more than your likes.
That's a good note to leave it on, Kellye. I like that. Well, believe it or not, we're just about out of time. But before we close, let's go around and have each of you share your biggest takeaway from this conversation. Kellye, what are your takeaways?
Sure. My takeaways from this conversation is basically be careful what you're posting on social media. If it's something that you would be embarrassed to show your managers, the director, the board of nursing, if a patient can recognize that you're talking about them or jeopardizing patient information, don't post it. Do not post it. That's my takeaway. What about you, Marcela? What's your biggest takeaway?
definitely for new nurses. And because newer means younger, and I know that their whole world is online. Just remember that there's a whole world here, IRL too. And there's a lot of artistic outlets. And maybe it's a public Instagram or a public page where you can share with everyone. But when it comes to really controversial stuff that would even make you consider that you're putting your license in jeopardy, it's better to just avoid it. Haley, how about you?
I am excited to leave this podcast invigorated, knowing that we are going to film a viral dance on TikTok as the Med-Surg Moments team. Eric, how about you?
You have no idea how down we can get. We can get. I think Kellye had the absolute perfect line of the evening. License over likes. What about you, Sydney? What was your biggest takeaway?
I would say for me, the biggest takeaway is that social media is a fun outlet. It's a great place to go and find other nurses that, are maybe feeling the same ways as you, or can put a positive spin on what you felt was a hard shift. But we just have to be really careful about protecting our patients' privacy, protecting our own license and what we're saying online, and just making sure that we're upholding the standards that nurses have worked so hard to set. Thank you, everyone. This is such a fun conversation. To our listeners, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Med-Surg Moments, the AMSN podcast. We look forward to connecting with you on the next episode of Med-Surg Moments, the AMSN podcast.
In the meantime, we encourage you to subscribe to Med-Surg Moments wherever you listen to podcasts.
To reach us, use hashtag MedSurg Moments on your social post.
Or send us an email at amsnpod@amsn.org. That's amsnpod@amsn.org.
We're all AMSN members, and if you love Med-Surg Moments, we invite you to become a member of AMSN. You can learn more at www.amsn.org.
Finally, the content within the Med-Surg Moments podcast represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the co-hosts and may not necessarily reflect the views, thoughts, and opinions of the Academy of Medical Surgical Nurses.
Until next time, this is Sydney,
Eric,
Trish,
Kellye,
Haley,
and Marcela. And always remember, Med-Surg Moments is a moment in our lives and a moment in our Med-Surg careers that makes a huge difference.